season. Keep up to date with all the excitement of high school football on the Bulldogs.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the lovely Las Cruces, New Mexico. We're here at the Field of Dreams to see the battle between the Centennial Hawks and the Del Norte Knights. It's the Centennial's homecoming game, so it should be an exciting one, hopefully with fingers crossed. I'm Melissa Flores reporting for LCPS TV, and our official sponsors for tonight's game are NMA and Corner Deli, so we'd like to give a special shout out to them. Thanks everyone for your contributions, and hopefully tonight's a good game. The crowd's slowly starting to build up, so let's see how good the spirit is tonight. And the weather's pretty nice. It was raining earlier, but right now it's good. So let's take it back up to the booth.
for the playing of the national anthem by the Centennial High School Marching Band under the direction of Miss Sarah Candelaria.
Football, softball, basketball, and more.
The Del Norte Knights and head coach Bruce Binkley. Centennial Hawks. And National Day of Service and Remembrance 2015 Presidential Proclamation. On September 11th, 2001, America experienced the worst terrorist attack in her history when nearly 3,000 men, women, and children were taken from us, leaving their families and our nation with a void that can never be filled. But those who brought hate to our shores and smoke to our skies did not expect our country to emerge stronger and our beacons of hope and freedom to shine brighter as a result. In the years since, we have stood strong as one people, determined to further embolden our country's character with acts of endurance and strength, rebuilding and resilience, renewal and progress. In remembrance of the innocent victims who lost their lives and in honor of the families they left behind, let us continue to answer these heinous acts by serving our communities, lifting the lives of our fellow citizens, and spreading the hope that others tried to dim that day. As we reflect on the lives we lost and pay tribute to the families who still live with extraordinary pain, let us resolve to continue embodying the American spirit that no act of terror can ever extinguish. I call on all Americans to observe this National Day of Service and Remembrance with acts of selflessness and charity. In doing so, we prove once again that the power of those who seek to harm and to destroy us is never greater than our power to persevere and to build. I encourage everyone to visit www.serve.gov to learn of the many opportunities available to give back to others and to reaffirm the fundamental truth that we are brothers and our sisters' keepers, and that we can forge a brighter future together. Please join me in a moment of respect and silence. Thank you.
I don't even. The numbers were gold, and I guess the jersey was an off red. And I like this outfit a lot better than than what they wore last week. Fashion advice brought to you by Mark Hartshorn.
Hey, if it looks good, man.
This concludes the Sports Accessories Countdown to Kickoff as we're moments away from the opening kickoff, brought to you by the Real Man in Mesilla right off the plaza. Nice selection of hats, menswear, resort wear shirts, shorts, and booted away. The wind is blowing south to north right now. We had a pretty good storm in Las Cruces this afternoon. That has all vacated the area. Looks like some high clouds have built just on the other side of the Oregon Mountains off to the east, but over the city, it looks pretty good right now. Here is the opening kick, and we are underway. And with that strong wind blowing at the back of the Hawks, the kick carries into the end zone for a touchback, and Centennial will be on defense first as Del Norte gets the ball first at their own 20-yard line. Starting lineups defensively for Centennial, the defensive line of Garola, Minnick, and Acosta. Linebacking core of Luna, Hernandez, Boykin, and Reynaud. The DBs, Pena, Sotelo, Balcazar, and Chavez. When they go to the nickel, Zeke Chavez into the game. So we are underway here at the Field of Dreams as Centennial 2-0 takes on Del Norte. And the Knights on the very first play of the game hand off to Avery C., the 6'1", 225-pound senior fullback. And he gets it back to the line of scrimmage, no gain. It's second down and 10 for the Del Norte Knights. Their quarterback, Dante Mora, senior, 5'11", 200 pounds. See, where's number 23 for the Knights? Second down and 10 for Del Norte. The ball at the Knight 20-yard line. Five-man defensive line for the Hawks. Handoff going left as that's Jose Leyba. Leyba crosses to 25, up the sideline to the 29-yard line. Rips off 9 yards on the sweep.
And Del Norte in the shotgun spread, as we've seen so many other teams. I think they'd be well advised to keep the ball on the edge like that, Jeff, because certainly down there in the middle, Marcus Minnick, a name that we've mentioned many times in the past 2 weeks, is controlling the line of scrimmage.
Curtis Gillespie comes wide to the right for the Del Norte Knights. Out of the pistol, good snap, handoff to C, trying the left side. The Hawks bottle it up and stop him for a yard loss at left tackle. So they try to run off tackle, and Del Norte just didn't have the horses up front to get any movement. And C lost a yard, 2 carries, -1 for C in between the tackles here on the opening drive. It's 4th and 2 for Del Norte.
And the down linemen of Garola, Minnick, and Acosta are creating a new line of scrimmage in the Del Norte backfield this first series.
4th and 2, and the Knights line up to go for it. Perhaps they're just going to try to draw the Hawks off sides. Couple of hard counts by the quarterback, Dante Mora. It seems insane to go for it at this juncture, so I don't really see where the bluff might pay off there unless the Hawks totally fell asleep. And the Knights take a timeout. Timeout on the field. 0-0 the score. 10:45 to play in the opening quarter. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Call 575-524-2486. You're listening to
The Hawk 41-yard line. So Centennial 1st and 10 at its own 41. Dante Lopez runs the offense for Centennial. Hands off to Gutierrez, the sophomore, to the second level. Wrapped up as he crosses the 45. Tackled right in between the numbers on the giant Field of Dreams logo. At the 48-yard line, it's a gain of 7 on the first carry of the game for the Hawks, who never huddle, though they do spend quite a bit of time in between plays. They are not exactly in a no-hurry huddle like, or no-hurry mode like Franklin was last week. Franklin would get a playoff every 5-6 seconds, it seemed like. Going to the air is Lopez, swings it out to Pena on a wide receiver screen. First down at midfield, spun down at the Del Norte 45-yard line. And that'll move the chains after a gain of 8 on Lopez's first pass attempt of the ball game.
With the long handoff play, Jeff, that we've seen previously, 3 wide receivers, 2 go downfield to block. The third one steps back, takes that swing pass, gets a first down.
9:40 to play in the opening quarter. Hawks nothing, Knights nothing, just underway here as the sun's setting on the Oregon Mountains off to the east. 1st and 10 for the Hawks at the Del Norte 44-yard line. Pena goes in motion into the backfield. Fake a handoff to him. Come back with Gutierrez on the counter. Straight ahead. He's got the 40, the 35, the 30, and down to the 24-yard line as he rips off 20 yards straight up the gut. First down and 10.
Fake fly sweep to the wide side. Steven Garcia, Vincent Rubio pulling from the right back to the left-hand side on that counter tray play. Nicely done in there for a first down.
9 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first quarter. This drive started at the Centennial 41-yard line. They've already marched it to the Del Norte 24-yard line. Lopez out of the shotgun. Lopez on a little right read, hands off to Gutierrez, and he is really plugged up in the hole. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. No gain. On the tackle was Avery C., inside linebacker, 225-pounder. No gain. It's second down and 10. They didn't block anybody there, did they?
Well, didn't attempt to on the edge, but gave the play inside on that zone read look.
Second and 10 for the Hawks. The ball is at the Del Norte 24-yard line. Stacked receivers split wide to the right. Lopez hands off to Gutierrez coming left. Picks up a block. He's to the 20. Shakes a tackler at the 15 and weaves his way to the sideline at the 12. It's a gain of 12 for Gutierrez. 4 carries, 39 yards for Gutierrez already. On the stat update brought to you by Sun Valley Hardware. 1st and 10 at the Del Norte 12-yard line.
And Centennial simply doing what they do, Jeff. Spread the field, zone read.
First and 10 at the Del Norte 12-yard line. Hasso in. They fake a handoff to him. Swing a pass out to Bryce Rewalt. He tries to get away. Spins, but he's taken down out on the edge by the defensive back, Parker Herndon. That works for a gain of 7. And it's 2nd down and 3. That was the 6th play of this Centennial drive, which has moved them from their own 41 down to the Del Norte 5. 2nd and 3 at the 5. Rewalt in motion. Fake a handoff to Rewalt, and Lopez will keep up the left hash across the 2 to the 1. He's in. Touchdown Hawks. So it didn't take them long to go 59 yards. The TD run of 5 yards from Dante Lopez, and the Hawks are on the board with 7:34 to play in the opening quarter.
And again, a dominant performance by the Centennial offensive line. The big guys in there in the middle, Berkeley, Nino, Garcia, Vincent Rubino, moving the Del Norte Knights off of the football.
PAT attempt by Bryce Rewalt, and that one is good. So it's Centennial 7, Del Norte nothing. A 3 and out by the Knights, and a 7-play TD march for the Hawks. We'll take a break. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570. Kick back at the 5, comes right up the right hash across the 20 to the 25, stopped at around the 26. So Del Norte starts 6 yards further up than they did last time, maybe 7 yards. It looks like they're going to plop it at the 27. 7:26 to play in the opening quarter. 7 plays, 59 yards for the Hawks on their opening drive. Del Norte really only won 1 play, and that would be the stop of no gain on the Gutierrez run midway through the drive. 1st and 10, the ball is at the Del Norte 27, trying to run a little sweep to the left, and they don't make the exchange, and the ball's rolling free at the 21, and Del Norte turns it over. So the Knights can't even make the handoff on the sweep, Mark. That's got to be terrible news for Del Norte.
Well, and to stay in a game like this, you simply cannot do that. You can't give up a 60-yard drive, run 1 play after the kickoff, fumble the ball, give the other team the ball on the 22-yard line, especially given the depth advantage that Centennial has in a ball game like this. It's just deadly to have that kind of turnover at that junction.
So it's 1st and 10 for the Centennial Hawks. The ball is at the Del Norte 22-yard line. 4 wide receivers on 1st and 10. They hand it off to Junior Pena out of the slot, coming in motion, and on a little sweep, he crosses the 15, crosses the 10, and he's down to the 8-yard line. So he rips off 14 yards on the first drive of the series in his first carry of the night, and it's 1st down and goal. The ball is at the Del Norte 8-yard line.
And nothing fancy by Centennial, all zone blocking up front. Run the fly sweep to the 3 wide receiver side, get a little space. We're down inside the 10-yard line.
Pena and Austin are split wide to the right. Rewalt's wide to the left, joined over there by another receiver. Handoff straight ahead, veering left now is Gutierrez running to daylight. And Del Norte comes up and stops him at the 7 for just a yard gain. Really looked like Gutierrez had found something to the left side, but that closed up in a hurry, and it's a gain of just 1. 2nd down and goal from the 7.
And Centennial spreading the field down in here with 2 wide receivers to either side. and looking for space in the middle with the Del Norte front spread across the field.
That was Gallegos who joined Rewalt wide to the left, and those two are still wide to the left. Gallegos in a slot, Rewalt wide to the left, Pena goes wide to the right, and in a slot to the right side is Chase Austin. No tight end set. Lopez out of the pistol, back to pass, firing on a slant over the middle for Pena, and the pass incomplete. It was overthrown. And so Lopez now 2 for 3 for 15 yards through the air. 3rd and goal. So Del Norte defense trying to get the stop here.
And overthrown a little bit, that's true, Jeff, but Curtis Gillespie, the Del Norte defender, was draped all over the Centennial wide receiver as well.
He asked for a flag.
He did.
Didn't get one.
Didn't get one.
3rd down and goal for the Hawks. The ball marked for play at the Del Norte 7-yard line. Lopez in a shotgun set. Receiver to each side, 2 tight ends this time. Lopez, little shovel pass to his end going left. Pena runs over a Knight at the 2 and he's in. Touchdown. So they lined him up to the right side and had him come across in kind of a counter action. I see a lot of wing T in Centennial's offense.
Centennial's offense is not just out of the Oregon book of spread offense, but a lot of it comes from Urban Meyer's philosophies that he pioneered at Utah, and then, of course, at Florida and now at Ohio State. It's very, very similar to Urban Meyer's stuff.
Here's Rewalt for the PAT attempt, and it's up, and it is good. 6:04 to play in the opening quarter. 14-0. Centennial, a 59-yard drive and a 22-yard drive for the Hawks. We'll take a break. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Western Heritage Bank is a proud sponsor of the Las Cruces.
Situation to be in.
So 1st and 10 for the Del Norte Knights at its own 20-yard line. Send the wing in motion, hand off to C. C stopped at the point of attack, bounces off that tackler, carries around left end and finds a soft spot and picks up 3. With a good run by C, he was going to be stopped for a yard loss at the point of attack, bounced off the pile and went around the left end for 3. It's 2nd down and 7. Oñate's taking on Cleveland, which the talk has begun now that Cleveland might be the best team in New Mexico history. They went to Del Valle last week and won convincingly against El Paso's 3rd-ranked team. And the scuttlebutt during the
Centennial just sitting there, Jeff, in a 5-man defensive front. In that instance, zone coverage in the secondary. Four-leg action by Del Norte. All the receivers covered. Quarterback had to get what he could, which wasn't nearly enough.
So it's 4th and 8 for the Knights of Del Norte. Nathan Burnett in the punt. Twin safeties back for the Hawks. And the kick this time a better one. Comes out of there a little wobbly towards the Hawks sideline. Hits at the 48 of Del Norte. Sticks. Hops high into the air and then goes out of bounds at the 47-yard line of Del Norte. So 4 minutes to play in the opening quarter, and Centennial leads at 14-0. And Del Norte doesn't have a first down yet, or a stop for that matter. So the Hawks on a short field, looking to blow this one open earlier. No surprise here. This is kind of what we expected, although Del Norte committing that turnover on its second dash on the very first play has made it even more one-sided.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a big gap between these two ball clubs.
1st and 10 for Centennial at the Del Norte 47. Lopez fires right side, caught by Pena, spins away from a tackler. He's loose, he's got the 30, he's got the 20, up the sideline, it's in, the 5, he lunges for the flag. Did he get in? He did, touchdown. 47-yard TD pass for Lopez. That's already 20-0. 3:49 to play in the opening quarter.
Very simple route, 2 wide receivers each side. Pena runs up the field, 10 yards, turns around. Lopez delivers the ball. Pena spins, escapes down the sideline, 20-0 Hawks.
So a 47-yard pass on the first play of the series puts them up 20-0. Greenwald's PAT is good. He's trying to stay out of our doghouse. Make all these PATs.
Last week it extended the game when he missed one.
So a 47-yard drive in one play. They call it a drive. 21-0 Hawks. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570 Fox Sports.
McDonald's presents things set in
The Centennial football team would like to recognize Mr. Michael Montoya for being the most awesome principal in all the land. He has received all the support to support Hawk football and Mr. Montoya.
Padilla to boot it away for the Hawks. Line drive kick hits the safety in the chest, bounces off of him, and Karams to the 15 near the sideline, picks it up to the 20. Returning left to the 25, upended out at the 30-yard line. Not a bad return after he chased down the Karam. That was Josh Hemmert, I beg your pardon. It's Hemmert, sophomore on the return for Del Norte. So the Knights take the ball at their own 30-yard line. Del Norte was in its heyday back in the 80s when the Northeast Heights was the booming area of Albuquerque. Now the west side is where the growth is in Albuquerque. That Northeast Heights, still a nice middle class area, but see the numbers in those areas dropping as Parker Herndon takes the handoff and carries back to the line of scrimmage.
Jeff, I'm sure you remember when Del Norte was the north end of Albuquerque. Now it seems like it's in the middle of town, but you're right, Jeff, that neighborhood is pretty much emptied out. Del Norte's a much smaller school enrollment-wise than they were at that time in the 80s when they were very, very good.
2nd down and 10 for the Knights, the ball at their own 30-yard line. Good snap, Mora hands off, going left with the handoff as Herndon, and he stopped at the 32-yard line after a gain of 2. And it's 3rd down and 8 for Del Norte at their own 32. Late first quarter, 21-0 Centennial if you're just tuning in. Oñate is down 16-0 to Cleveland early going. Haven't got a report from Carlsbad yet, but when we do, we'll pass it along. Ernesto Garcia will be along at halftime to give you scores from around the state. I think the best game of the state's here tomorrow, though, Versus and Volcano Vista. We'll have that for you. Little play action swing pass to C. Hit right after he catches it at the line of scrimmage out in the left flat. He's battling. It's going to take a bunch of Hawks to bring him down shy of a first down, but they don't get him down after contact till he picks up about 5 or 6 extra yards, so good effort. But it's still 4th down for Del Norte and about 3 to go after a gain of 4.
And Cruz Chavez, the right corner for Centennial, not fooled by any of the play action in the backfield. Set, waited in his zone, came up, made a very, very nice tackle to stop Del Norte short of a first down.
Del Norte lines up to go for it down 3 touchdowns late first quarter at their own 37-yard line. Mora fakes a handoff and keeps and battles his way for a first down at left tackle as he picks up 4 when they needed 3, so Del Norte gets its first down of the ball game, converting on 4th and 3, and they move the chains. It's 1st and 10 at the Del Norte 41-yard line. So a little something good to happen for the Knights. They are going into the wind here. Minute 44 to play in the opening quarter. Very comfortable breeze blowing around the Field of Dreams right now. Del Norte has it 1st and 10. The ball's at the Knight 41-yard line. Split receiver wide to the left. Mora can't handle the snap. Goes back, picks it up. Now he's just going to get back what he can as he's hit way back at the 31-yard line. And that's a big loss on the play as Gabe Pacheco comes up to make the stop for the Hawks. It's a loss of 10 on that play. He just seemed to have trouble with the snap. I don't know if it was off to his left or if he just kind of got caught looking upfield while the snap was on the way and just didn't handle it. Either way, it's a loss of 10, and it brings up 2nd down and 20 for Del Norte at the 31-yard line. The pistol. And Mora runs a little option. The option back is Leyba. He pitches it to him, and he's swarmed under on the edge. It's a loss of 2.
And what's happening, Jeff, is Centennial many times, particularly with the ball on the edge, there are 5, 6, 7 black shirts. I can't even pick out a defender to credit with a tackle. There's so many of them on top of the ball carrier. Very sound, very basic fundamental football, well executed by the Hawks.
And the Knights faced with 3rd down and 22 from their own 29-yard line late in the opening quarter. 21-0 Centennial. And Mora fakes a handoff, drops the pass, cocks his arm, fires over the middle. It's caught shy of a first down and up at the 38-yard line. Making the catch is Herndon. It's a gain of 9, but they needed 22. So it'll be a punting situation for Del Norte on 4th down and 13 at the Del Norte 38. First quarter has expired at Centennial 21. Del Norte nothing at the end of 1. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
And that's the end of the first quarter. After one quarter, Hawks lead 21-0. We'd like to recognize our scoreboard sponsors tonight, Citizens Bank. Thank Citizens. And again, thank you. The 22nd annual Sandra Beaver Gravel All Whitney's High School Golf Tournament, Southwest Sports Wine Center, Wells Fargo Bank, Pipes Belgium, ABC Printing Company Inc., Cable Sign Company, Allstate Benefits, American Documents, Applebee's, National Furniture Home Store, Mountain Travel, DC Mitchell Company Inc., Chili River Maintenance and Home.
Returned it, Sotelo returns to the 32, and there's penalty markers everywhere. Lots of markers down.
Yeah, it was a very clear block in the back by one of the Centennial players. So this ball will come back quite a few yards.
That looked like an official's ticker tape
And
parade.
boy, it did. There were flags coming from every corner of the stadium.
Block in the back against Centennial.
Illegal block in the back.
Play ended at the 32. I think they'll mark it off from there. The officials asking Del Norte if they want it. I know you need to do it procedurally, but sometimes it seems like maybe you shouldn't have to ask, even though, you know, you have to.
First down, Hawks.
So they get the answer, and the Knights have taken the penalty, and it moves the Hawks back to their own 23-yard line with 11:48 to play in the half. 21-0 Hawks. They got a long field to navigate here. They've been on a short field most of the first quarter. Good snap to Lopez, fakes a handoff, head and shoulder fake, going long, man wide open, and he misses him by 5 yards. Rewalt was wide open over the middle, and Dante Lopez missed him badly. It's second down and 10.
Yes, and it simply looked too easy. Del Norte was in man-to-man on the 3 wide receivers, 8 men on the line of scrimmage, trying to stop that Centennial running game, and Bryce Rewald was running down the middle of the field with no one around him.
Well, now they're going into the wind where they were operating with the wind at their back in the opening quarter. Maybe that had Lopez put too much mustard on it, trying to navigate the wind for the first time. Second and 10. Little shovel pass to Pena going left. Del Norte has it defensed well, but Pena shakes free and is dropped after he picks up 3 in between the tackles at the 26. Pretty good defense there.
Yes, and that looks to be Centennial's play of the week, setting the wing back underneath the quarterback, so to speak, running a little shovel pass with a couple of pulling linemen in front of him. Scored down here at the other end, not so much that time.
Rewalt's flanked wide to the left. Pena's flanked wide to the right. Lopez out of the pistol. Sends Pena in motion, fakes a handoff to him, drops the pass, lobbing it long, puts a lot of air underneath it. The receiver slows up and the pass is knocked away, but it draws flags as there was a lot of contact when it got there. Rewalt had about 5 yards when the ball was uncorked. When the ball was in the air, he had to put on the brakes a little bit because it was thrown behind him with that wind blowing in Lopez's face. And the defensive back ended up running him over, Devontae Garcia. And so it'll be pass interference against Del Norte, and that'll give the Knights, or rather the Hawks, I beg your pardon, a first down.
And the penalty you could see coming as soon as Dante let loose of the ball, because high arcing pass, the Del Norte defender with his back turned to the ball did not turn to try to make a play on the ball and ran into the receiver.
So it is first down and 10 for the Hawks. The ball at the Del Norte, or rather it's at the Centennial 41. Lopez hands off, and in between the tackles go the Hawks. I'm not sure if that's Gutierrez or Hasso, I can't tell yet. I'll wait till they unpile. It was Hasso on his first carry of the game. Gets up to the 46-yard line. It's a gain of 5.
Fake fly sweep, single back up the middle, 5 yards as we've seen so many times.
10:38 to play in the half. Hawks 21, Knights nothing. Here on the scoreboard, it's second down and 5 for the Hawks. The ball at their own 46. Lopez out of the gun. Fakes a handoff, sprints out to the left side, then he rises up and throws it, and the penalty marker flies as the pass is incomplete. An eligible man downfield, maybe?
That's what it looks like to me, Jeff.
Nope, holding. Holding is the call against the Hawks. Well, seems to me, and this is just a amateur analysis, but the Hawks are starting to get kind of deep into the playbook and have a little fun, maybe doing things that aren't really in their base package. That was fancy. I mean, you fake.
Well,
you fake the handoff, then you look like you're running the quarterback phase of the keep, and then he rises up and throws it out into the flat. And there was just a whole lot of stuff going on.
Seen him do it against Oñate, but you're right, Jeff. Centennial's getting a little cute out there.
Why not? You're up 21-0 early second quarter in a game in which it looks lopsided. Lopez throwing deep. Pena stumbles out of his break. The pass is incomplete. Down at the 38-yard line as Pena was battling a defender, Curtis Gillespie, but Pena slipped when he made his break mark, and all of a sudden the Hawks not executing.
No, the emotion's gone out of the game a little bit. That first quarter was so heavily tilted in the direction of the Hawks that they may not just really have the same emotional intensity that they started the game with.
Once you lose that, it's hard to get it back.
It's hard to get it back.
10-17 to play in the half. Hawks up comfortably 21-0. Padilla goes in motion right to left, and a marker will fly. They may have been in illegal formation. Penalty against the Hawks, their second of this drive, and their second of the game. Moves them back to the 30, where it's 3rd and 21 with 10-17 to play in the half. 21-0. Centennial leads. Stay tuned after the game for the Las Cruces Public Schools post-game show. We'll also name our Steve Barrett Real Estate Player of the Game. We'll do that after the game tonight and tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow afternoon, of course, is Cruces and Volcano Vista. 3rd down and 21. They go to the ground and hand it off to Pena, and he's stopped for a loss as the Knights defense that play well. Making the stop.
Junior Pena picked up for a loss by Jose Leyva.
Tony Swanson made the stop.
Got some penetration up there that we don't typically see against the Centennial offensive line. And my concern about Centennial, Jeff, is, I mean, they're kind of in ho-hum mode already.
Yeah.
That won't hurt them against Del Norte. But against somebody that is a better team than Del Norte, playing this way will get you in trouble.
Andres Sanchez is the single safety. Good snap. Max protect for the Hawks. They have 3 personal protectors. High short kick takes a Centennial bounce at the 45. Mounds to midfield and then crawls backwards a yard where it's down. And Del Norte's on its first short field of the ball game as they have it at the Centennial 49. 9:28 to play in the second quarter as the Centennial offense looked discombobulated on that last series. So if Aaron Ocampo wanted something to be upset about, now he's got it.
And he's over there talking to his offensive group, and he's not very happy right now. I don't blame him.
Del Norte sets its team up 20, or rather the Hawks are up 21-0. The Knights are down 21-0 on offense. Little GT handoff straight up the gut. Big hole, 45-40 down to the 38 for the big fullback C, and it's a first down for Del Norte after a gain of 11. Well, I think the Hawks did a little bit of what you and I did. The old, this one is over at 21-0 midway point of the first quarter, and you know, the last 5 or 6 minutes, this thing's been a stalemate.
Yes, I don't think Del Norte can beat him, but this is not the way the Hawks want to be doing business either.
1st and 10 for Del Norte at the Centennial 38-yard line. Hand off to C, bounces it right, finds a soft spot, runs over a Hawk at the 36, carries to the 34. That's a gain of 4. 5 carries, 17 yards for C on the Sun Valley Hardware stat update. And it's 2nd and 6 for Del Norte at the Centennial 34-yard line.
Yeah, and C's getting a little lean in there, Jeff. He's a pretty decent football player for these Del Norte Knights. Of course, he has to go both ways, playing not only fullback here, but linebacker on defense as well.
Mora out of the shotgun. Mora hands off to C, and they have penetration up front to the Hawks. And C stopped for no gain. And then driven backwards as they didn't get it cleaned up at the point of attack. Jerry Garola was the first one there, the defensive lineman for Centennial. Actually lost a yard. And it's 3rd down and 7 for Del Norte at the Hawk 35. Well, we hammered it away last week, and I'm never one to beat a dead horse. But Centennial's schedule soft.
Very.
Mora, hands off, little sweep coming left. Lots of Hawks there. They're going to stop him for a big loss. They didn't block a soul as Leyva on a sweep to the left had a wall of black and red coming at him. That's a loss of 6 on a little sweep. And that makes it 4th down for the Hawks, or rather for the Knights at the Hawk 41. Loss of 6.
Yes, and the right defensive end for Centennial forcing that play wide. And I believe that's Junior Pena coming up from a cornerback position, making the initial hit on that sweep play from Del Norte.
So it's 4th and 13 for Del Norte at the Hawk 41-yard line with 7:22 to play until halftime. Centennial leads it 21-0 with a ho-hum second quarter effort on offense so far. Here's the boot. He tries to go for the coffin corner, and he ends up getting it inside the 20 at the 16. And so the Hawks will start off there with 7:10 to play until halftime. And Del Norte is forced a Centennial punt.
Mayfield leads 20.
And I think Aaron Ocampo has delivered a message to his offense. We'll see if they maybe come back with a little more fire than they have in the last couple of series here. He was not pleased after the last Hawk possession.
So a long field for Centennial. They have the ball at the 16. 84 yards to pay dirt. 21-0 Centennial, midpoint of the second quarter. And they send the flanker in motion, handoff to Hasso straight ahead. And Hasso running downhill, finds a nice alley for 8.
Number 27, Keith Hasso with the carry.
Centennial they like to run that play with a fake fly sweep and put the ball up there in the middle behind George Nino and Cameron Berkeley, a total of almost 600 pounds of offensive linemen.
2nd and 2 for the Hawks. The ball is at the Centennial 24. Lopez has them ready with 4 wide receivers. Del Norte has a little trouble lining up. Now they adjust as the Hawks look to the sideline to see if they should change the play. So on 2nd and 2, Lopez hands the football off to Hasso. Hasso behind left guard gets the first down and a little more as he stopped at the 27. That's a gain of 3 or 4, and that'll move the sticks with 6:25 to play in the half.
With Centennial cycling their formations, spreading the field with wide receivers either side, controlling the ball in the middle. Maybe they'll get back in the swing of things, Jeff.
6:18 and counting to play until halftime. 21-0 Centennial. New set of downs to work with. 1st and 10 for the Hawks at the Hawk 28-yard line. Lopez has 3 wide receivers to the left. He's looking to the single receiver side. Little head and shoulder fake, and he hits Pena in stride at the 40, at the 30. Down the sideline by himself. He's going to score. Touchdown. Touchdown Hawks. 72-yard TD pass. His 2nd of the night for both guys. 2nd for Lopez, 2nd for Pena.
Very nice stop and go pattern by Pena. Looked as if he was coming up short. Froze the Del Norte defender. And that time Dante Lopez delivered a beautiful ball, 72 yards, touchdown.
Seemed to me on the last drive he was having a little trouble with the wind that was now in his face, but he threw a perfect ball there, leading him, and Pena caught it in stride, had 5 or 6 yards on the defender, and that just grew as Pena strided his way into the end zone. PAT is good. 5:58 to play in the half. It's the Hawks 28, the Knights nothing. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Let's face it,
Okay, so we're here with Mr. Michael Montoya, the principal of Centennial High School, and we just wanted to know, everyone's dying to know, what do you think of Centennial not being the underdogs anymore?
Well, it's a huge undertaking for our kids. You know, it was, at first when we started, we weren't sure where we were going to be, but, the kids have come through, all our kids, all our athletics, I think, and our whole student body has come through, and really excited, really excited.
And how do you feel that Centennial now has some state championships under their belt? I mean, that's a huge deal.
Absolutely. After the 3rd year, and having a basketball championship and a volleyball championship, it's a huge deal. We wanted to do that from the beginning to make sure that, the big thing was we were irrelevant or whatever. And that went by the wayside. And we are here, and I think Centennial has made a mark in Las Cruces.
Yeah, Centennial's doing awesome. Thank you, Mr. Montoya.
Right, thank you.
Let's take it back up to the booth.
Taking their foot off the gas.
First and 10 for the Knights at the Del Norte 28-yard line. Jeff Matthews along with Greg Berry here at the Field of Dreams. Here's a handoff to C. C bounces it out to the right side. And no gain. I mean Mark Hartshorn, I beg your pardon.
No offense taken. Greg is a friend of both of ours, and we've had some real nice times with him up here in this booth.
Well, it's been a decade or more, so. No gain for C. I actually did that on purpose.
I know you did. Since I got on you about not doing it on purpose last week.
Yeah, I did it last week by accident. Second down and 10 for Del Norte at the 28-yard line. Fake handoff. Mora to keep, goes down at the 29, gets a yard. Goes down.
Dante Moore on the quarterback keeper.
Right in between the hashes. Stop made by Jerry Garola. And it's 3rd and 9.
Brings up 3rd down.
And it's a tough deal, Jeff, where you can't get yards in the middle and can't get yards on the edge and can't throw it either.
Other than that, it's going pretty good.
Absolutely.
3rd down and 9 for Del Norte. Here's the blitz rolling right as Mora. They protect him, and he lets go of it, and it's incomplete. Had one receiver running a square out towards the sideline, and he was open if he'd have thrown a strike. That was Leba, but he overthrew it. That's the first time Mora's been incomplete. He's 2 for 3 for 14 yards on the stat update, brought to you by Sun Valley Hardware. And another punt for Del Norte as they go 3 and out, are faced with 4th down and 8 from their own 30 with 4:40 to play in the half. Tomorrow, Volcano Vista and Cruces here at the Field of Dreams. Kickoffs at 1 in the Bulldogs home opener. They went to El Paso and played Montwood in a game that ended late in the 3rd quarter. Montwood was up 20-14 at the time. Then last week, the Bulldogs on Saturday afternoon ventured up I-25 and Mercy rolled La Cueva 46-7. Del Norte spends a timeout. We'll take one too. 28-0 Centennial. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
And the presentation of the homecoming quarter. So stick around.
Left, a couple of crushing blocks, and Sotelo is down to the 46. 2 Knights are down. One helmetless and the other one's not moving very much. And the Del Norte coach is really on the referee because he thought there were blocking infractions there. I was watching the ball. I really don't have an opinion. But there's 2 Knights that are down. 4:28 to play in the half. It's the Hawks 28. The Knights nothing here on the scoreboard. Let's pause while the 2 injured parties are looked at. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
High school sports are a pretty big deal around here.
Deontay Lopez to Bryce Green Wilson. Greenwald's extra point is good. Hawks 35, Knights 0.
Okay, so it's been a really exciting game here at the Field of Dreams. Right now it's currently 35-0 Centennial, and it's the homecoming game, so the spirit's been super hyped, it's been super exciting, and everything's just going well right now. The weather's perfect, everyone's just excited, and it's been a great game for the Hawks, so let's see how the rest of it turns out. Let's take it back up to the booth.
Del Norte on the kick return, and they get it across the 30 out to the 32-yard line. So we are now under the auspices of the Mercy Rule. One of the changes this year in the Mercy Rule, it didn't used to start until halftime. Now it starts whenever, and I think that's a good rule. This game's been decided.
Oh, there's no question about that, Jeff. We have another Del Norte player down. We knew going into the game, Aaron Ocampo, his philosophy there at Centennial is two platoon. He plays, has an offensive unit and a defensive unit, and they don't cross over. They play only one side of the ball, and of course Del Norte is not in that position, playing 6 and 7 players both ways, and ultimately that advantage for Centennial will wear out Del Norte. It already has, really, so it's a tough situation for the Del Norte Knights.
Del Norte played St. Pius opening week and lost 47-8. They played Albuquerque High last week and pulled out a 21-14 come from behind win. So they're 1-1, and they'll take on the likes of Aztec next week, then Los Lunas, then they play La Cueva and Bernalillo, and at Espanola Valley, at Capital, and Los Alamos. That's the rest of their schedule. And frankly, Centennial's 6A good. I mean, they would be a factor in the 6A race if they were 6A, yet they're 5A. So that puts them in the class with Goddard and Artesia and Los Lunas and Belen, Farmington, and those guys. A lot of people are predicting an Artesia Centennial final already.
No, one of them is me, okay, and I'm not so sure, but Artesia can beat him either, okay. Centennial, very big, a veteran team. Aaron Ocampo has his system in where, again, the 2-platoon system, playing either offense or defense, but not both. He's got his entire offense in, no question about that. And honestly, I think Centennial's playing better defense than they did last year as well.
Knights have lost their third player as Sanchez being helped off, putting no weight on that left leg. And the Knights aren't very big anyway in terms of roster size. Not very many folks are suited out over on the far sideline. And they've already lost 2 guys in this game and now a third. And losing 1 guy on Del Norte's teams like losing 2 on Centennial.
Cleveland 39, Oñate 0.
Knights are getting thumped up in Albuquerque, or in Rio Rancho to be more accurate. Cleveland 39, Oñate nothing.
And that may not mean that the Knights really aren't very good.
1st and 10. Good snap, handoff from Mora to C, and C tries the right side and punches it for 2 to the 36.
Avery C on the carry.
Everything Mark and I heard going into this season was look out for Cleveland. They might be better than the Cleveland team that won the state championship in Kirk Potter's last year, when Cleveland trailed Mayfield at the half here at the Field of Dreams, and then with a big second half performance, won somewhat handily over the Trojans in the state championship. What was that, 09?
I believe so. And if Cleveland is better than that team, then they must be really, really good, because that team had a lot of great athletes on it. And of course, our friend Kirk Potter, that I was very pleased to see Kirk get a state championship. Of course, it came at the expense of the Mayfield Trojans, but couldn't have a better guy with a blue trophy under his arm walking out of the stadium than Kirk Potter.
He called it quits after that.
He did. He did.
I saw Coach Potter. He came over for Coach Bradley's funeral, and I hadn't seen Kirk Potter in a long time. And we had a nice little visit there, and his wife says, did you know what he said at halftime? Mayfield was up at the half and had control of the game. And so she had Kirk tell me the story. He went in and said, do you want the blue trophy or the red trophy? The blue trophy is a championship trophy. It's kind of up to you guys. Are you going to go play or not?
That would be Kirk.
That's what he said. That's all he said.
Yeah.
Second down and 9. Sweeping to the right side on a handoff and out of bounds at the 40-yard line after a gain of 5 is Parker Herndon. Herndon on his third carry has 7 yards, and time called with 1:15 to play in the half. Even though we're under the auspices of the running clock, 35-0 Hawks will keep it here. But when you talk about Cleveland being better than that team went undefeated.
Yes, and they were very, very good. So if Cleveland is better than that crew, they must be exceptional.
Mayfield had an undefeated team back in the early 2000s. Cruces had that great team that went up and beat Sandia in the state championship. Just a few years ago. Cleveland's team, as we mentioned in that discussion, how about those great La Cueva teams in the early 2000s? Of course, Jim Spence, who was my partner at the time, used to say that La Cueva's coach was the best recruiter in the state of New Mexico, including Rocky Long.
And they say that about La Cueva's basketball coach, and a few other La Cueva coaches too.
At the time, they were a little notorious for that. Was that going on?
Yeah, it was. Just being honest with you, yes, it was.
Third down and 4 for Del Norte from their own 40, and the tight end on the left side fires off for the Knights. That'll cost them 5. It was my understanding a lot of those players that ended up at La Cueva were actually players that should have gone to Cibola at the time. And that was the word of mouth. But down here we have open enrollment.
Well, everybody has open enrollment, but the eligibility factor comes into play. Who are you living with? In other words, by rule, you're supposed to be living with the custodial parent and in the attendance zone, unless you're a first-time entering freshman. So there was some real curious situation. I mean, a kid from Cibola moves to the northeast heights of Albuquerque out by La Cueva. That's a fair mileage between those two spots.
Third down and 9, Mora drops to pass. Mora's a lefty. Now he's going to step up and he's going to scramble to the far sideline, and he's caught as he gets to the 36 for a gain of 1. And one of the curious things about all that, when you go back to that time frame, that really great La Cueva team with Frankie Baca and those guys, that was during that era.
Yes, it was. But it's been going on in any multiple school district for a long time. Del Norte Knights are a perfect example. One of the Maloof kids, the Maloof family out of Albuquerque there, he played football at Del Norte, basketball at, I think, Albuquerque High, and baseball at Highland in the same year. Okay? And just moved, had an apartment address, which he probably wasn't living in. How do you play at 3 different schools at 3 different years, in the same year rather, 3 different sports, 3 different schools? How does that happen?
Well, the NMAA doesn't really have an investigative division. It's up to you to kind of turn yourself in if you commit a violation. Am I correct? Or maybe one of your rivals turns you in. I don't.
Now, would that happen, Jeff? Would anybody tell on somebody else?
So it's 4th and 8 for Del Norte. The ball at the Del Norte 36 with 1:03 to play in the half. The Hawks 35, the Knights nothing. High snap. And the boot is away, and it's a good kick. End-over-end kick drives Pena all the way back to the 22. Starts right, gets in between the numbers. Comes right hash, 30 out to the numbers. 35, he's got the 40, 45 up the sideline 50. Grabbed at the 48, and there's another night down, and the penalty marker flies in late. So the Hawks with 45 seconds to play until the half look like they're going to start back around their own 40 or so. So we'll see where they end up enforcing this penalty. I heard a little grumbling up in Albuquerque during the basketball tournament.
Well, what has happened in the past.
People get envious if you win.
Yes,
if you
absolutely.
lose, nobody cares where your kids
That's
came from,
right.
do they? Do you think anybody's investigating Del Norte's attendance policies right now?
I would doubt it. Okay. But allegedly, what has happened in Albuquerque basketball in the past is players that are, say they're playing on an AAU team or they're in a summer league, they get together and say, well, if you'll go to La Cueva, I'll go to La Cueva. You know, that kind of thing. And one year, the three best guards in Albuquerque all wound up playing at La Cueva High School, and none of them lived in the attendance zone the year before. So, you know, strange stuff happens. Things that you just wonder about. It's like, it doesn't look right, doesn't pass the smell test.
It's a 15-yard penalty from the spot.
15-yard penalty moves the Hawks back to their own 33-yard line. I think New Mexico has too many classifications. Another little issue. I mean, 6 classes with as few as schools as we have. 1st and 10 for the Hawks at its own 33. Handoff to Junior Pena going left. He's grabbed and yanked down out on the edge for a yard loss.
And around Junior Pena.
And it's 2nd down and 10, maybe 11 with under 30 seconds to play in the half. We're already into the mercy rule. Mayfield's up 34-0 at the half over in.
Flag on the play.
Carl's back. Pena called for a legal procedure. I think he cramped up is what he did.
Yeah, he was lined up out here as a wide receiver, got a cramp in his leg and fell over, and the official called it for illegal procedure.
Well, he's probably technically right.
Well, technically, probably is.
So that'll move him back to the 28. 2nd and 15. Lopez going to the air, swings it out right side, caught. Tackle made immediately at the 30, gain of 2. And it's 3rd down now as the catch made by Chase Austin.
Lopez's pass is complete to Chase Austin.
And we got a whistle, and it is halftime. At the half, it's Centennial 35, Del Norte nothing. Ernesto Garcia will spin you around the state of New Mexico, let you know about the other scores, including the Knights and including the Trojans. Here at the half, brought to you by the Burger Time Golf Tournament and the halftime show, the Burger Time Golf Tournament halftime report. 35-0 Hawks here. Mark and I will return to the stadium after the halftime show. Take it away, Ernesto.
So I'm here with Coach Tejas, the head coach of the freshman football team. And how do you think the game's playing out so far?
It's going good, but our kids still making too many mental mistakes. If we can correct that, you know, we can do a whole heck of a lot better.
So what do you think they can do to correct like their mistakes, and how do you think they can get better?
It's basically sometimes they get caught up in the speed of the game and they overthink. They just have to relax, take a deep breath, and do their jobs.
And how do you think the rest of the season is going to play out for the Hawks?
Every game is going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be a tough season period, but I think our kids are going to be up to the challenge, and I think we can do real well.
And what about like JV, freshman, and varsity? How do you think all of it's going to play out?
Well, we're all doing what Coach Ocampo has wanted us to do, follow what he's trying to teach us, which is give us our kids to do us the best effort every play, and just execute. And if they make a mistake, learn from it and keep on going.
Awesome. Well, hopefully it's a great season for the Centennial Hawks. Thank you so much, Coach Tejas. Let's take it back to the booth.
Welcome.
High School Marching Band.
Centennial High School
And is under the direction of Joseph Flores and Sarah Candelaria. Program coordinator is Ping Dawson, and drill writer is Jack Percival. Guard instructors are Katie Tomasek and Cassie Tarango. Percussion instructors are April Lara, Angie Armagnac, and Mark V. Hill. Other staff includes Josh Graves, Stephen Boma, Dwight Getz, Nate Wood, and Patrick Mulkerns. This year's competition show is entitled Paradigm, featuring music of Gabriel Yared and Don Barrett. Tonight's show consists of two movements. The first movement is titled Patterns and features soloist Leah Romero on flute, Danny Robles on mellophone, and Kira Cunoff on oboe. The second movement is titled Shift and features Tommy Yoder on flugelhorn and Leah Romero on flute. Drum majors Sarah Deisinger, Brianna Gilligan, and Elena Holguin. Is your band ready? Centennial High School Marching Band, you may take the field for a halftime performance. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the Centennial Palms. On your feet for the Centennial High School fight site. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2015 Centennial High School homecoming court. Freshman Princess Bethany Bridges, escorted by Lorraine and Richard Bridges. Bethany is in Renaissance, track, and gymnastics. I'm interested in becoming involved with our school activities and sports. I'm currently a competitive gymnast and will soon be a member of Centennial Track. I do very well academically. I am proud to be a Hawk because I feel that all of the student body, staff, and administration are very positive and very welcoming. This makes me proud because one day I will graduate as a Hawk. Freshman Prince Kieran Binkley, escorted by Ken and Becky Binkley. Kieran is in marching band. He plays the alto sax, 4-H, and a member of Stugo. My current sport, club, and activity is marching band, but I plan on joining the CHS track team in the spring. My favorite teacher this year is Mrs. Krenzel. I strive to be a confident, helpful, friendly, funny, and a smart role model. I am part of Doñana 4-H, and I'm also very excited for this year because of the great programs, teachers, and administration I have already experienced after only a few months of being a Hawk. I am proud to be a Hawk because of the hardcore reputation that Centennial has built after only 4 years, and I plan on continuing that trend. I'm also proud to be a Hawk because of how much positive energy beats through the heart of everyone I have met at Centennial. Sophomore Princess Malali Green, escorted by Kim Green. I'm involved in cheer. I'm a very friendly, energetic, and outgoing person. I love animals, and I enjoy having fun. My hobbies include cheerleading, hanging out with friends, helping the community, and making sure everyone in my life is happy. I am proud to be a Hawk because I get to cheer for my school and represent it. I love all the people here. There is always good vibes. I wouldn't want to be at any other school. Smiley face. She wrote that. You can't see that though. Sophomore Princess Josiah Leone, escorted by Lucy and Ruben Leone. Josiah enjoys many things like class and football. I also off-road. I stay in as minimal trouble as I can manage and help out the community. Community service is essential to play football. I am proud to wear our colors, proud because I am currently a starting football player for my JV Centennial football team. I am also proud to be a Hawk because I have a lot of friends at Centennial and wouldn't go to any other school in Las Cruces. I personally enjoy our learning system better than the other schools. I also feel that my chances of succeeding here are better at Centennial High School. Junior Princess Norma Farrell, escorted by Patrick and Cynthia Farrell. I am a member of Student Government and Honor Society. I love to dance. I was recently in a hip-hop class. I'm a very outgoing and social girl. I love to get involved with school activities. Our school spirit is absolutely amazing. It's an honor to be part of a school that is so involved with all of our sports and events. Junior Prince Noah Fisher, escorted by Luther and Vanessa Fisher. Noah is a member of student government and football. I love my friends and two families on the field and at home. These are the people who mold me into the person I will become, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. I feel like we've grown together as a school so quickly, and it's awesome to start as an underdog and finally gain so much respect academically and also in extracurricular activities. Queen Lauren Tejas, escorted by Gilbert Tejas. Lauren is involved in Stugo and FCCLA. She is the senior class vice president. I'm an outgoing, easy to get along with. I'm very involved and I make friends easily. I have tons of school spirit and attend a lot of school activities, including games, fundraisers, and community service acts. I am proud to be a Hawk because I am part of the first full 4-year graduating class of 2016. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else but Centennial. I am definitely proud to be a Hawk. And King Bryce Rewalt, escorted by Brian and Beth Rewalt. Varsity football, varsity basketball, National Honor Society, Mayor's Top Teen, recently confirmed at St. Albert's Parish and Renaissance. The things that define me most would be my faith, my family, and all the things I'm involved with and have accomplished at Centennial. I enjoy spending time with my mom, dad, brother, and sister. In high school, I've maintained a 4.0 GPA, and I'm looking forward to heading off to college and hoping to earn a degree in statistics. I also participate in National Honor Society and Renaissance at Centennial High School. I was honored last year to be nominated and selected as a mayor's top teen of Las Cruces. High school would not have been near as fun had I not participated in athletics. In both varsity football and varsity basketball, I've developed a brotherhood within both teams. I am proud of the district and state title we've brought home in both of the sports. I'm proud to be a Hawk because it's been a wonderful experience to be a part of the first 4-year graduating class. To be able to be part of a developing traditions and maintaining them over these past 4 years has made me a better Hawk. Your homecoming court for 2015. Now get back to work, Bryce. And now, welcome back to the field, the visitors from Albuquerque, the Del Norte Knights, under head coach Bruce Binkley.
I'm here with the homecoming queen, Lauren Tejas, and she's also involved in student government, so she had a big part for the Spirit Week. And how did that go?
It was so much fun. Like, this is my senior year. I mean, this is my last homecoming. We went all out, and this was just amazing. It was really great.
And how did it feel to win queen? Because I know that's a huge deal.
Yes, winning queen, especially my senior year, my last thing, I wanted to try to do something. My last year went all out, and it was just an amazing feeling. I loved it.
Yeah, and how do you feel about Centennial as a school? Do you love the spirit? Is it everything you wanted it to be in your senior year?
Yes, of course. Our senior year is just great. Our student section is amazing, and it's just a great experience. I'm glad I'm at Centennial.
Thank you. Congratulations, Lauren. Thank you so much.
And Michael said, I'm glad we don't have to play Montwood this year because Mayfield's at about 14 to 1,500 students, and Montwood's up around 2,500 or more. And he said, I didn't know if we could hang with them or not. He goes, I think now that we've seen what we've got, we could play with them. But he also said every time they played Montwood the next week, they had 7 or 8 or 9 guys out because it was such a battle. And when you're taking on those big enrollment schools every week, there's a toll. I mean, getting to do it the way Centennial has, where they take on Oñate, and then they get to fiddle around with Gadsden and Del Norte, and then they play up, and then they get to play back down. It doesn't take the weekly toll that it does when you play the large schools with the big giant student bodies week in and week out, because more students mean more athletes, which mean bigger pools to choose from and larger teams generally, correct?
Well, that's generally true, and even now, with the open enrollment law, depending upon where a certain group of kids chooses to attend, the total numbers may not be as significant as where a given grade level group of kids decides to go. Maybe they all decide to go to Cruces. Mayfield lost a lot a couple of years ago that decided to go to Oñate. But, you know, Jeff, right now there's about 245 seniors at Mayfield High School. It is the smallest senior class ever in the 50-year history of Mayfield High School. And I just assure you, there are not as many athletes there in a numbers game, which football is, with 1,500 kids as compared to when they had 2,300 kids. That's just, we can call it right, wrong, or indifferent. We can call it anything we want to, but that's the reality of the situation.
Well, just interesting to talk about. What do you think about open enrollment in general? Used to, you lived in a district, that's where you went, period, and now you can choose. That seems okay to me. Just at face value, I don't know the issues.
Yeah, you know, I think it is, and what it forces, the concept behind open enrollment is to ensure that each individual school develops their own personality, their own programs, and so that kids have a choice. Kids and their families can pick the kind of school, so to speak, and the kind of program that's there. I think, honestly, curriculum-wise, the 4 high schools, the 4 comprehensive schools, are more similar in their curriculums now than they used to be, where Oñate had the Health Service Academy, Cruces High had the Ag program, Mayfield had ROTC and the automotive shop and that kind of thing. There were really separate and distinct programs at those different schools, and the personalities of the different schools were very, very different. You know, it was promoted to be that way. I'm not so sure that the schools are as different as they used to be, but certainly offering kids a choice of where to go to school can only be to their benefit.
Well, and yeah, to me, I mean, if you're at that age where you're making that choice in the last couple of years, how do you not pick Centennial once you go see that building?
Well, yeah, unless your mom and dad went to Mayfield.
Well, that's true.
But you know, Jeff,
which they didn't.
I know. But you know what I think people in town don't realize is between the alternative schools, meaning Arrowhead, schools of that nature, the 2 early college high schools, the charter high schools that are in town, there is the equivalent of another comprehensive high school that is not going to one of the 4 big schools. There's 1,500 high school kids in town that are not attending Cruces, Mayfield, Oñate, or Centennial. And those kind of choices weren't there 20 years ago.
Well, that was probably way more interesting than recapping this first half scoring because it's 35-0 Hawks at the half. We'll begin the second half under the auspices of the Mercy Rule. 273 yards for Centennial to 41 for Del Norte in the first half statistically. Brought to you by Sun Valley Hardware. Here's the kick. The Hawks take it at the 10 to the 20, 30, out to the 35 to the 36-yard line. I think you'll see Aaron Ocampo start with the first team offense for a drive, and then usually what happens, you start to see a lot of substitutions from that point on in games like this. I didn't hear one interesting, dramatic game going on around the state tonight. I mean, everything was a blowout. How weird for early September. I think the game in the state that everybody will be watching for is tomorrow afternoon here, and we'll have it for you on the ticket. Volcano Vista and Cruces.
I believe we'll find out if Volcano Vista is for real, Jeff.
First and 10 for the Hawks. The ball at the Hawk 37-yard line, and a handoff straight ahead to Hasso, and he's grabbed and dropped after 2 yards straight ahead. 19 yards for Hasso. Dante Lopez throwing 6 for 9 for 159 yards and 2 TDs. The Hawks had 114 yards rushing, led by Gutierrez with 40.
And we'll see if Del Norte can hang in here a little bit, Jeff. Hawks with the ball again.
Second and 8 for Centennial. The ball at the Hawk 39-yard line. And a handoff to Hasso. Spins away from a tackler at the line of scrimmage. Heads left up the numbers 40, 45 across midfield. Dropped on the far sideline at the 46-yard line. Big gain on the play. And it's a first down for Centennial. They had Hasso right at the point of attack. He spun away from that tackler and picks up 15.
And Hasso did a nice job lowering his shoulder, spinning off of the first tackler and picking up the first down up the field.
I like these Centennial uniforms so much. I hope they go to these at home all the time.
Yeah, if they go black on black, if they'd wear their black pants with the black tops, they'd look even better. Look sharp out there now, though.
I did not like their newer uniforms last week. I guess it was last week. First down and 10 for the Hawks. The ball at the 46-yard line of Del Norte. Handoff on a sweep to the right. Rewalt breaks a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. And he carries up to the 41 on the flanker sweep for 5 on his first running play of the ball game. Now, they don't really consult me on the fashion decisions, I might add. And a lot of it's what the players like. But I like this look.
A lot of it's what the coach likes, because he's putting in the purchase order.
I'm glad the Bulldogs went from red to blue, though.
Oh, man, that killed me.
Did it?
Yeah, we always wore red.
Second and 5, Lopez out of the gun. Hands off to Hasso, big gaping hole left side, off tackle, 35-30, veers to the sideline to the 25 and gets tackled way out on the track. I mean, he was tackled 10 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, the flags have come from about 6 different places too, Jeff. Open a hole there on the left side behind tackle Bo Glines. You could have run through that hole, Jeff. I don't know if I could have, but I give you credit, man. I think you could have got it done.
Maybe if you set a pizza over there.
Well, maybe. Okay.
So Hasso picks up 18, and then there'll be a tack on for the personal foul against Del Norte for the late hit. I mean, he literally got tackled, I'm not kidding you, out on the track. I'm not exaggerating.
No, some frustration on the part of Del Norte. You get in a ball game like this, and everything is going against you, and Hasso's just broken another one for a lot of yards. And I mean, I don't think it was an evil thing by the Del Norte kid, but he shouldn't have done it.
9 minutes to play in the third quarter. It's 35-0. Centennial with the lead. They're knocking at the door for more. Lopez out of the gun. They're in the eye and the gun. And the shotgun snap comes chest high. Handoff to Gomez. Gomez hit, breaks the tackle, shakes another tackle at the 11, breaks another tackle at the 7, dropped at the 5, stretches out to the 3. That's a gain of 7.
And Hasso ran through about 5 Del
Gomez.
Norte, Gomez rather, ran through about 5 Del Norte defenders on his way down to the 1-yard line.
Well, to be more specific, the 4-yard line.
Close enough. the way things are going, 1, 4, 14.
Twins to the right for the Hawks. Rewalt's wide to the right. Pena's in a slot to the right. Gomez out of the pistol, backs her in the eye, handoff, and Gomez goes untouched into the end zone. A 4-yard TD run for Brandon. Third TD rushing for the Hawks tonight, and that makes it 41-0. Centennial with the lead, 8:04 to play in the opening quarter. You can tell you're a non-stat keeper with your yard line observations.
That would be true. Of course, again, in this game, it doesn't seem to much matter where they mark the ball. Del Norte's not stopping anything Centennial has done.
Rewalt's PAT is good. Of course, he hit the big ones in the first half, which got it to 35. Now it's 42-0. We're under a running clock. 8:04 to play in the third quarter. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Citizens Bank of Las Cruces, Delvalle Physical Therapy, Digital Solutions, Electrical Contracting Services, Exit Realty, First Light Credit Union, Hooters, Johnston Supply, Kelly Liquors, L&P Building Supply, Las Cruces Moose Lodge 281, and Millennium Health and Wellness.
New and hometown banking with Citizens. The card that gives back.
The auspices of the first phase of the Mercy Rule. If Centennial gets up 50 or more, it's hard to get much more than that, but if it turns into a 50-point differential, the game just ends, just flat out ends. Little pooch kick, and Del Norte makes the catch, and then the receiver drops down to a knee at the 22. So Del Norte has it 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. Two third-year quarterbacks in tomorrow afternoon's affair between Cruces and Volcano Vista. Cameron Miller won a state championship as a sophomore for the Bulldogs. And Williams is the quarterback for Volcano Vista. He's a third-year starter. We'll have the game tomorrow afternoon at 12:45 p.m. right here on AM 570 Fox Sports, The Ticket. Hand off to the ace back for Del Norte and just plunges right into the line for a loss of 2, no gain. And it's second down and 12, as that was Herndon on the carry. He's got 4 carries for 7 yards. Their leading ball carrier is C with 16 yards. Their best play of the game was an 11-yard run by C in the first half. Second and 12 for the Del Norte Knights. And a blitz coming from the secondary. And the Hawks came across the line of scrimmage unless they were drawn off. Dead ball. False start against Del Norte. They were, in fact, drawn off. 42-0 Hawks. 6:54 to play in the third quarter.
And the play list gets a little short at 42-0 with 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. And I've been there, Jeff. It's not a whole bunch of fun.
You've been on both sidelines.
I have.
Which sideline's more fun, need I ask?
Not the one that has the goose egg.
Yeah, that's for sure. Handoff and another stop in the backfield. Ball comes free. Rolling at the 6, rolling at the 5. Del Norte falls on it at the 2. There was a Hawk that had a chance to pick it up and scoop and score, and he whiffed on it.
Fumble.
And then the Del Norte Knight came back and fell on it back at the 2. That was a loss of 18. So now they're all the way back to their own 2-yard line. If he scores, that would have made it 48-0 with 6 minutes to play in the third quarter.
Third down.
Well, I have to think the score is coming pretty soon.
He maybe got a sticker for not scoring. Del Norte fumbles the ball on the shotgun snap. It's rolling free in the end zone. Back of the end zone, it goes back out of the end zone for a safety. That makes it 44 to nothing. Centennial with 5:51 to play in the third quarter. Couldn't get the hot potato. But it moves us close to that 50 to nothing mercy rule that literally ends the game. 5:51 to play in the third, 44 nothing Centennial. Hawk football continues after this on AM 570 The Ticket.
Consumer information.
To nothing Centennial, and the kick end over end sails to the 34. Hawks to the 40. Hawks to the 45. Hawks to midfield, and he's turned away there. Maybe gave him an extra yard there. Be close to midfield. Well, we've talked about Centennial's schedule. The district's week, plus last week against Gadsden, this week against Del Norte. I don't see what they really got out of these two matchups. Now, they don't do their own scheduling. That needs to be said. And a lot of these schedules aren't a 2-year deal. Like last year, Centennial went to Del Norte. But at what point is your schedule too easy?
Well, Centennial's schedule, just to be candid about it, is too easy. They're not getting any better by playing Gadsden and the likes of Del Norte, and they may not be the worst teams they'll see here the rest of the year either.
Noah Bartlett's taken over at quarterback and hands off across the 50 to the 49-yard line. Goes Derek Chacon on the carry, about a 3-yard gain.
Hands the ball to Derek Chacon.
So Chacon's taken over at tailback, 5'7", 760-pound sophomore. So they've handed off to the Killer Bees, as Coach Essex used to call them.
Coach Essex had a phrase or two.
Second down and 7. And a little play action from Bartlett. He'll keep into the stack. Bartlett shakes the initial tackler and is dropped near the 45 after a gain of 2.
Bartlett on the quarterback keeper.
And surely Coach Ocampo wants to get some of his younger players some time, and maybe it's the thing to do. But I think in this particular situation, maybe give them a series or two, get the ones back in there, and let's put an end to this thing.
I don't think we'll see the ones again myself.
No, I don't think we will either. We didn't see them last week against Gadsden that way.
We'll be drawing those 50-50 tickets here in just a minute. We'll announce the winner in just a minute.
But Del Norte may not be able to hold off the Killer Bees either.
Third down and 3.5 for the Centennial Hawks at the Del Norte 45-yard line. Bartlett out of the gun. Fields a little bit of a high snap. Hands off. Penetration from the night defense. Stuffs him for no gain. And it's fourth down. Chacon. 2 carries, 3 yards. As he couldn't pick up a thing there as Del Norte got penetration from the get-go, and we'll see what Aaron Ocampo does here. I think you go for it, but he's going to send in the punting. That's Coach Ocampo yelling punt. He said it roughly 8 times. Most of the guys were off getting a Gatorade.
Well, they're off checking out the homecoming queen and whatever other good-looking gal might be down here in the cheerleader line. And at 44 to nothing, I'd be doing the same.
So the punting team is scuttled in. The snap a little high, handled and booted away. And a high spiraling kick hits at the 15, bounds towards the far side to the 10, rolls inside the 10 down to the 7.
Punt is touchdown.
So Del Norte takes over there. with 2:33 to play in the opening quarter and counting, by the way, because of the mercy rule.
It's a white ticket.
What's the perfect way to schedule? I mean, if you're strong, you want to play a strong schedule. If you're weak, you want to play a weak schedule. But if you're just your everyday high school football team that's pretty good,
You got 7 minutes.
what do you want to do scheduling-wise? You want to play up a little, but you also want to build a little confidence with the win or two in there. I mean, look at the Aggies, for instance. That game at Florida probably didn't do them a whole lot of good last week, except for in the pocketbook. First down and 10 for Del Norte at their own 8. And Mora hands off, and a little bit of a seam on the right side as the Hawks mix in some new defenders, and on the carries, Herndon punches it out across the 10 to the 12-yard line for a gain of 4.
Well, Jeff, to answer your question, if you've got a pretty decent team, I think you do want a mixture. You want some people you know you can beat, so you can go out, get your system together, get your confidence going, and then some people that you're really going to have to play up and play well in order to be able to compete with them. Centennial schedule, and again, it's no one's fault, is not helping them improve as a football team.
Mora out of the gun, hands off to his tailback, tries the left side, nothing there. Sticking his head in there and closing up the hole is Jake Boykin, who's a starting linebacker in there, so they have not totally put in new fresh faces on defense. As Leba stopped at the line of scrimmage, and it's 3rd down and about 6. And at the college level, it's a whole nother animal. The Aggie football team was sent on a fundraising mission last week. It begins in earnest tomorrow night when they play Georgia State, as they play somebody their own size, so to speak.
Yes, they have Georgia State tomorrow, but they are headed back to Oxford, Mississippi to play Ole Miss here in the near future, and that'll be quite an experience as well.
3rd down and 6 for the Knights. The ball at their own 12-yard line. Out of the gun, Mora fakes a handoff, rolls right. He's a lefty, hits C. He has it in the flat. He's across the 20 and out of bounds at the 26-yard line, and that's a 1st down after a gain of 14.
I've got a friend in Mississippi, Jeff, that says Ole Miss, they redshirt all-American girls. Okay, so
5 minutes. Tick tock, tick tock.
Nine seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. 44-0, the Hawks over the Knights. 1st and 10 for Del Norte, and the clock will expire. And the 3rd quarter is in the books. 44-0. Centennial
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
leads it at the end of 3 as we are deep into the mercy rule. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Let's face it,
It's the end of the 3rd quarter, and it's currently 44 Centennial Hawks and Del Norte 0. It's been a pretty exciting game, though. They've made a pretty good fight, and of course, the crowd's pretty lively. They're just waiting for the drum line to come out. The cheerleaders are doing awesome. The coaches, everyone's doing awesome. It's been a great game. And another thank you to the A&M and the Corner Deli for sponsoring LCPS's game tonight.
And we have a winner. So now you can tear up the tickets. Please place them responsibly in a recycle bin on your way out. Thank you very much.
Sandwiched at the line of scrimmage, no gain. 8 carries, 18 yards for C tonight on the Sun Valley Hardware stat update. So tomorrow, Volcano Vista and Cruces.
2nd down.
Bulldogs right now are 1-1. I don't know what the NMAA is going to do about that game that ended in the 3rd quarter down in El Paso.
final 52-0. Cleveland beats Oñate.
Mora back to pass. Mora sets up, fires long far sideline, pass incomplete, flag flies. They're going to get Centennial for interference. The Oñate game has ended. 52-0 Cleveland Mercy Rule game ends.
And again, I don't think it's necessarily because Oñate is not that good of a football team, but I just think Cleveland is exceptional.
Brings up third down.
Man, that is a little scary seeing Centennial, who we think is very good, maybe the third or fourth best team in the state, according to NM Preps, regardless of classification, beat Oñate by a touchdown, and then to watch Cleveland hang a 50-burger on the Knights with the Knights not even scoring. Is that frightening?
It's kind of frightening. There may not be very many people that can play with Cleveland, Jeff.
1st and 10 for Del Norte at the Del Norte 42-yard line. Handoff to Leyba, and Leyba punches it up to the 44. Remember Ronnie Daniels in his junior year, that La Cueva team? And Mayfield made the finals and played La Cueva, and La Cueva thumped Mayfield pretty good in a pedestrian effort up in Albuquerque. And that was kind of a no mystery year itself. Everybody knew La Cueva was good. Everybody knew La Cueva was the team to beat, and they went and did it. Wasn't a whole lot of drama in the playoffs that year. Of course, in Ronnie Daniels' senior year, there was supposed to be a repeat, and Mayfield upset them here at the Field of Dreams, despite the fact Ronnie Daniels had over 300 yards rushing. Handoff, and taking the handoff is Leyba, and Leyba finds a little soft spot, picks up about 4 on the left side of his offensive line. Lopez makes the stop for the Hawks, and it's 3rd down and 4. But I won't forget the night that Mayfield beat Ronnie Daniels in his senior year here at the Field of Dreams. Mayfield had about a 10% chance at winning that night, and they pulled it out.
On some years, there's one team that may just be so much better than everybody else that you just can't beat them, and it may be Cleveland this year.
Shotgun, offset eye. And Mora turns and hands off again to Leyba. Leyba bounces it out to the left and gets hit near the first down stick. I think he's got it after a gain of about 3, and that'll move the sticks for Del Norte with 9:45 to play in the game.
Mayfield 41, Carlsbad 6, 7 minutes left to go for it.
41-6, Mayfield leads Carlsbad midway point of the 4th quarter, as they are in the Mercy Rule over in Carlsbad. There are some good games ahead. Mayfield goes to Alamogordo. Rio Rancho comes here to take on Cruces. Artesia and Cruces play this year. 1st down and 10. Handoff to Herndon. Herndon bounces it out to the right. Slides to the 45, up the hash to the 40, to the 35. Big collision brings him down at the 32-yard line. And that's a 1st down after a gain of 16. Longest run of the night for Del Norte. One of the mysteries to me, and I haven't asked, so I don't know the answer, why does Mayfield and Centennial not play?
I couldn't tell you that.
I think that might draw a few fans.
It would.
1st and 10 for the Knights at the Centennial 32-yard line. Handoff to Herndon. Herndon pulls tacklers across the 30 down to the 28. That's a gain of 4. There's probably a story with that one. I just don't know what it is. I think that'd be a great game.
I think it would be too, and as you've indicated, the schedules go in 2-year cycles. So typically if you didn't play a team last year, unless the districts change, you wouldn't play them this year either.
2nd down and 6 for the Knights. The ball is at the Hawk 28-yard line. Out of the eye in the shotgun, Mora fakes a handoff to Herndon. Bootleg to the right, wants to keep all the way, and is dropped at the 26 after a gain of 2. Well, let's just look at it from this point of view, just devil's advocate, I guess. You leave Del Norte at home tonight, you leave the Trojans at home tonight, and you have Centennial and Mayfield playing instead of the 2 games that are going on. How interesting would that matchup be compared to Mayfield up 35 on the road and Centennial up 44 here at home?
It'd be a lot more fun. Probably make more money off the crowd, too.
Oh, by a bunch. 3rd down and 4. Mora hands off to Herndon. Herndon fighting towards the 1st down, is not going to get there. Stopped at the 24 after a gain of 2. 7:40 and counting to play in the game. Centennial 44, Del Norte nothing here. So we got a timeout by Del Norte, 7:36 to play in the game. It's the Hawks 44 and Del Norte nothing. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket. Back after this.
There.
In a scoring update from the baseball world, Chihuahuas playing tonight in the playoffs. Lead Fresno 5-4 in the bottom of the fifth. Lema with the carry. A whole bunch of people on the tackle. First down, nice.
Picked up the first down, so it's 1st and 10 for Del Norte at the Centennial 20. Mora back to pass, fires underneath. It is caught. And making the grab is Swanson. Swanson upended at the 10, gain of 10. We have a baseball score. The Chihuahuas in the bottom of the 5th inning lead Fresno 5-4 in the Pacific Coast League baseball playoffs. We don't often give baseball scores during the high school football season, but it's one of those nights. Here's Herndon. Herndon steps over the pile and picks up a first down to the 8. Gain of 3. So Del Norte started this drive back at their own 7 is what I wrote down. I don't remember the start of the drive. Do you? Was it?
They were backed up in there. They've had a nice little drive here against the second teamers from Centennial's defense.
They've now moved it down to the Centennial 8. This will be the 12th play of this Del Norte drive. We're halfway through the 4th, 44-0 Centennial. Stay tuned after the game. We'll give you the final scores from around the state of New Mexico on the Las Cruces Public Schools postgame show. Rolling right is Moore, and he one-hops it incomplete into the end zone. And it's 2nd and goal. The ball is at the Centennial 8-yard line. So Del Norte playing for pride here, trying to get into the end zone and get on the scoreboard here. 5:50 and counting to play. 44-0 Centennial. It was 21-0 at the end of 1, 35-0 at the half. Dante Mora back, hands off, and the Knights punch it down to the 5 on the left side. On the carry is Leba again. 10 carries, 17 yards for Leba. 3rd and goal. So Mark and I get our first look at the Bulldogs tomorrow. Of course, it's game 3, so Bulldogs ready for some home cooking, you think, Mark?
Oh, I would surely think so, and it ought to be a great ball game against Volcano Vista.
Mora hands off. Leba heading left. Leba hit at the 2. Fights. He's in. Touchdown Del Norte. So Leba with a 5-yard run, and that completes a 93-yard march for Del Norte. The TD comes with 5:04 to play in the game, and it makes it 44-6. So 93 yards on 15 plays by the Knights.
And a little bit of good feeling for Del Norte, Jeff. It's kind of hard not to feel helpless when you're clearly overmatched in a ball game such as they are tonight. But got a touchdown, go for 2 now. Hold their heads up.
Shotgun offset eye, hand off to Herndon straight ahead, stopped at the 1. The 2-point play fails. We'll take a break. 5:04 to play in the game. It's the Hawks 44, the Del Norte Knights 6 on the scoreboard. You're listening to Hawk Football on AM 570, The Ticket.
Stopped short by Jacob Hernandez. The conversion is no good. Hawks lead 44-6. of the 22nd Annual Sandra B. McGrath All Activities High School Golf Tournament. New Mexico Bowl, Peter Piper, Premier Distributing Company, Arcon Construction, Rick Nezer Consulting, Seiko Spice Limited Company, Spence Asset Management, Steinborn and Associates Real Estate, Sun Valley Do It Best Hardware, The Fix Salon, Tom Solopek Farms, and Village Inn. The Centennial High School Football Booster Club would like to thank the family of Noah Bartlett for providing tonight's post-game meal.
Centennial 44, Del Norte 6. 5:04 to play in this one, which was decided early. And here is the kick. End over end. Caught at the 11. Hawks to the 15, at the hash 20, 25, out to the 30, to the 32. On the return for Centennial, Derek Chacon.
Chacon on the return. Centennial takes over.
Well, this is valuable time for the younger players of Centennial, Jeff. They are getting to play on Friday night out here at the Lights Field of Dreams. Bodes well for their future going forward in the program.
Did you watch the Patriots and the Steelers last night?
I surely did.
Apparently the Steelers had a little headset problem.
Yeah, they didn't file a complaint about it either.
Mike Tomlin looked a little ticked off after that.
Yeah, he did.
1st and 10 for the Hawks, the ball at their own 32-yard line. Another quarterback in their handoff, big hole up the middle, 35, 40, up to the 45-yard line. Chacon on the carry.
Derek Chacon.
Oh, that is Bartlett still in quarterback. I beg your pardon. His jersey's just rolled up, so his number looks different. It's a gain of 13 for Chacon. 3:49 and counting to play. 4 wide receivers for the Hawks. And on 1st and 10, Bartlett fakes a handoff. No, he actually made the handoff. Chacon wishes he hadn't of, as he gets swallowed at the point of attack for a loss of 3. He could never get going. He was hit right now. So a loss of 3 for Chacon. That was the only person fooled. Del Norte wasn't fooled.
3 on the play.
And it's 2nd and 13. I must admit my concentration is waning as I look forward to tomorrow afternoon here.
There were a few lookout blocks thrown up there.
I'm already putting my Volcano roster and personnel page into play here for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing Jim Miller's Bulldogs. 2nd down and 13. Snaps a little low. Bartlett fields it. Fires deep. Off the fingertips and incomplete down at the Del Norte 35-yard line. Intended for Padilla.
The fingertips of Brendan Padilla. Incomplete. Brings up 3rd down.
So it's 3rd and 13 for the Hawks at the Hawk 42-yard line. Boy, that's a comfortable breeze blowing tonight as the flags here at the stadium at half-staff in remembrance of September 11th. 2:26 to play in the game as the clock rolling due to the mercy rule. Volcano Vista, a new school on the west side of Albuquerque. What, how old's that now? 6, 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
So it's over there with Rio Rancho and Cleveland, but it's in Albuquerque, not Rio Rancho. Hand off to Padilla, sweep into the right. Padilla spins away from a tackler behind the line of scrimmage. Fights towards the line of scrimmage. A flag flies, and he got a couple, but it's not going to be enough to make a dent in the down and distance, plus a hold against Centennial with 2:02 to play in the game. Volcano Vista's kind of been poised to make a move, and frankly, their results have been a little disappointing. But they're off to a good start with 2 blowout wins in the first couple of weeks here in 2015.
4th down.
Yes, they think it's their year. So it'll be interesting to see them match up with the veteran program of the Cruces Bulldogs tomorrow afternoon. we'll find out whether Volcano Vista is really a contender or are they a pretender at this point.
Hawks to punt, nobody back deep for Del Norte. So they're safety-less at this point. Snap is low. Here they come after the punt, and somehow they got it away. They sent 11 after the punt and really got in there, but they didn't block it. Punt hits, takes a bounce for Del Norte, and is down at the 26.
Del Norte will take over.
So Del Norte takes over at their own 26, 1:33 to play in the game. And we've got another injured Del Norte Knight. So the clock stops. Well, they're going to let the clock roll. There's the whistle that stops the clock with 1:24 to play in the game as they attend to the injured Del Norte Knight. So Oñate's thumped tonight. The Trojans are thumping Carlsbad tonight. And Centennial is rolling tonight. They'll be 3-0. I think they take on Socorro, Texas next week. Socorro, Texas is the Bulldogs. I remember going down with Mayfield to take on Socorro, Texas, late 80s, early 90s. Since then, that school district has added Montwood, Americas, East Lake, I believe. They've also added El Dorado. So there's now 5 schools in what used to be one huge school district with just Socorro taking everybody. In fact, when they built the Student Activity Center, that was for Socorro High School. They don't even play there that much anymore because they're back to playing at their own facility when they need it, because they basically need a second stadium with 5 schools sharing a beautiful stadium down there. That SAC is something else. If you'll remember when Bump Elliott and that crew wanted to build the Field of Dreams originally up on the East Mesa, they were going to copy a lot of the things done at the Student Activity Center down in the Socorro School District. Hand off to Herndon. Herndon picks up a couple, stopped at the 27. And the clock rolling towards the 1-minute mark. But whatever political forces that were around back then fought the East Mesa location of this facility. And it's here now, and it's a beautiful high school facility. And I like it better than the SAC for our purposes.
Well, for our purposes, I think so too. But you're right, that SAC facility is a very, very nice place to play.
But they got 5 high schools sharing that one facility now. So I don't know where Centennial is going to play tomorrow. Here's a bomb. The defender falls down, and the pass overthrown incomplete to a wide open receiver. And it's now 3rd down and 8. But Centennial against Socorro,
3rd down.
That's more of a challenge for Centennial next week.
You would surely think so than the last couple of weeks against Gadsden and Del Norte.
So the next 2 weeks, Centennial takes on the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs of Socorro and then the Bulldogs of Las Cruces. They need to play up after the last 2 weeks.
Very much so.
Handoff to Leyba. Leyba across the 30 to the 31. Picks up 3. And I'm not trying to knock Del Norte. I'm not picking on them at all. But Centennial has a good football team. And I don't know that back-to-back Mercy rolls has done them a ton of good after that opening night win. There's the ball game. Final score, Centennial 44 and Del Norte 6. Stay tuned for the Las Cruces Public Schools post-game show. We'll do that right after this.
There is nothing like the feeling of family Friday night in high school football.
That's right.